Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Rob with American Angling, and today we're talking about waterfowl on Revontuli and how you need to get started as quickly as possible. So let's jump right into the loadout. There are going to be a couple guns you want to take out. The first is going to be a shotgun. This is probably like a 20 gauge for ducks or a 10 or 12 gauge for geese. Obviously the 10 and 12 work better for ducks as well, but it seems like a lot of times the 20 gauge just doesn't have the impact down at range, and we'll test that in the next video, so be sure to hit subscribe and like to see that one. As far as your backup gun goes, you want a 22 LR. This is used to take out specific animals. If you spot a dime in the group, you want to make sure you hit that animal. So the 22 is really important to use at that point. Now your main attractant here is going to be your decoys. For goose, you're typically need about 4 groups at about 4,000 apiece for about 16,000 credits. As far as ducks go, they come in groups of 10, so you need 2 packs times 4,000 is 8,000 credits for duck decoys. As far as the blind goes, you have 2 options here. You have a waterfowl, like stand-up style blind, or you can opt for a more expensive layout style blind. Now, personally, I feel like the waterfowl blind is a little bit easier to use because you can spot things up and down. You're not limited in range of movement. But the layout blind, you don't have nearly as many spooked animals, and you seem to have a little bit better range with the water one because you can get the water one out there and then lay your decoys out. Now you're also going to want a tent at 16,000. That coupled with the waterfowl blind at 8,000 and the layout another 16,000, it can get pretty pricey pretty quickly. Now collars. As far as collars go, each one is going to cost you about 6,000, and there are some ducks that don't necessarily have a collar. But for those ones, I just use the Beacon Deluxe collar, and that one seems to do just fine for me. So when it comes to decoys, each one has a 2 attractant to it for a maximum of 40 in a spread, because there's 20 maximum in a spread. The collar on top of that adds another 40 attractant to that, so you end up with around 80 in total. So it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to get those ducks or geese to come on in. But you do have only a 500 meter range versus the 200 meters of like a red deer collar, for instance. Now, when it comes to shooting animals, there's a few things you need to really consider here. Is where you are and how you're going to lay out. So here are my map locations that I use. Now, if you want to copy this map, go ahead and head down to the pinned comment down below and check out the Discord, and it'll be posted right in there for you. So as far as shooting the animals goes, you really have 2 options here. One is significantly more efficient, one is significantly more fun. So the first one we have is pass shooting. This is shooting birds as they fly overhead. This is when you really want to be running a couple of shotguns, maybe. That's where the 20 gauge with its semi-auto capability really comes into play here. Is that pass shooting is extremely difficult, and you're shooting at about 50 meters or so, which again, we'll look at shotguns and kind of everything about them in the next video, so keep an eye out for that. Ground shooting is when you're going to do the shooting when the birds are actually on the ground. So essentially what you can do is wait for those birds, go ahead and land in a group, and then if you have a shotgun, you can just kind of pop off a couple of shots and hopefully end up with as many as 8 birds in one go. But that's where the 22 really comes into play, as well as the 22. You can really pick out birds when they're on the ground, get the one you want, and then maybe switch over to a shotgun and pop a couple more as they're flying away. But if this video helped you guys out, give it a like, give me a subscribe. Have a good one, guys. I will see you around.